Hello, this is Adam with Daily Grind Digital, and today I'm going to show you how to use the announcement bar, the header, the mega menu, and the footer inside of the DGD Crusade Shopify theme. So right here I am on the home page. So when you open up the customizer, this is where you'll be. As you can see here in the top left, you have the announcement bar, you have the header right here, you have the mega menu right below it, and then if I scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you can see the footer. So I'm just going to walk through these one by one. So first of all, you have the announcement bar. Notice there's a little drop down area here. So you can add multiple announcements. So first of all, you can click into the actual section for the announcement bar, and you have the option to show that or not. So if you un uncheck it, obviously that announcement bar just left the screen. If I check it, now we see the announcement bar is there. Um, so we have a announcement block, yeah, so we can add an additional one if we want. I just have here free shipping on all orders, so you can see that there. You can do your color scheme. So if I do white, I'm going to have a white bar with black text. And these, your primary, secondary, and tertiary, are based off of what your settings are in the theme settings. So there's a completely separate video going over all of the different theme settings available in the theme. But just know you do have control over your primary, secondary, tertiary, and your gradient if you are using one. So you do have your content alignment there as well, so you can see what that does. Typically, I like center, but you can also add a link to that announcement bar, or you don't have to. Um, so then you have your secondary announcement bar, so you can have that say whatever you want, and just set that up there, and you'll be good to go. So I'll just go ahead and click save there, and so, so you can see that just slid in right there. So I'll go ahead and remove the one. We'll just use the one for now. All right, so that is the announcement bar. Pretty straightforward. Just anything you might want to announce, you can put it there for easy visibility. So next we have the header. Um, Header actually has quite a bit of options. Um, First, you have your alignment, so wide versus full. You're really not going to see a difference on that until you go to full screen mode. So note how wide this menu is here. And then if I go back to desktop and I do align full, now if we go back to full screen, you can see that it's stretched out further. That is also controlled in theme settings and the width settings, so be sure to check out the video on theme settings if you're interested. And by the way, if you're new, theme settings, you can just go to this paintbrush and check those out if you have the theme. Um, so next you have your transparent header. So do you want a transparent header or not? So if I uncheck that, now my header is not transparent. So you have different settings to control what this looks like. Of course, for now I'm going to roll with the transparent header because you actually have settings for transparent header, and then of course as you scroll down, you have a non-transparent header, so you can actually control both. And so we'll touch on those now. So the first thing to note here is you have a transparent desktop logo. So this is a specific logo to show on your transparent header, because sometimes the logo you need to show on your transparent header is different than the logo that you need to show on, say, a header that actually has a background on it. In this instance, it actually works on both, but in many instances, you need two different colored logos to make that work. So that is why you have a desktop option, you have a mobile option on transparent, if you see here. Then you have your logo option and your mobile logo for a solid background header. So, and you can also control the width settings of those. So, for example, um, this will control both the transparent desktop logo and the non-transparent desktop logo. So if we want to make that super large, probably wouldn't want to do that, but you do have control over how large or how small that logo is. I'm going to say it's around 90 to 100. All right, so, and then of course you have mobile. So if you need to look at mobile, you have that option there, and you can adjust your mobile logo size however you like. So let's go back to desktop. Um, your logo position on large screen. So essentially, you have top left, which is going to put it above your menu. You have middle left, which is going to put it to the left, and then your menu items are going to be in the middle. And then you have center, which is going to put your logo into the center. So those are your options for the logo. Um, many times, actually, I had client accounts that have each of these options: the top left, middle left, center. Really depends on the design, and they all can look good. So gives a good bit of flexibility there. Um, so you're able to insert your menu. I've titled the menu "Fake Menu." Um, Obviously, yours probably won't be like that, but you can change that menu or insert that menu right here, and you just do that from the back end of Shopify, and it'll put your menu right here that you've created. And for purposes, I'll show you that if you go to your online store section, go down to navigation, you can create menus right here. And you can see that I've inserted the fake menu, which has an item of shop all, learn more, and about us. So I've inserted that in here, fake menu, and you can see it's got shop all, learn more, and about us. So that is how that gets there in case you did not know. Next, you have show search. So you have this little search icon there. You can hide that if you want to. Um, Also, so your cart or your bag is always going to be there, of course, because you're e-commerce, but your account will not always be there, your account icon. This will automatically show up if you enable accounts in the back end of your Shopify. If you disable accounts, this icon is not going to show up. So it depends on your settings in the back end of Shopify. Hide header on scroll. So that's exactly what it sounds like. So as you scroll down, you get the header to show up, but as you keep scrolling, it'll actually disappear. So that is hide header on scroll. And then as you do your initial scroll up, the header will show. But you could do hide header on scroll, and what that'll do is it'll just it'll get rid. I'm sorry. When you do not hide header on scroll, your header will just stay there the entire time. So I'm sorry about that. So you have the option to either show your header all the time, or you have the option to hide your header on scroll, and then that'll allow it to hide, give you more screen room until the user starts scrolling up. All right, and then you have enabled top bar. So really just depends. So right now this top bar is this area right here where you can see the social icons, things of that nature. Um, so if I disable that, you can see that that goes away. You have a little bit more uh, less less header spacing taking up your page. But so with this, obviously it makes your header bigger. Um, I'm going to leave that on just for a minute so you could see a few other things. So one, you can show those social media icons or you could hide them. You can also show or hide the email. So you can come down here and just do right here. So if you put that additional info, you can just get rid of it. And obviously you don't have to have that, and you could just show your social media icon. So it really just depends on what you want to do there. Then the next option is utility menu location. So you can do top bar, which will put this utility menu in the top navigation with these social icons. So it'll put it all in the top bar. And you just have these items on the lower end, or you can do inner header. So that puts these utility menus in with the menu area there. And then of course, you can disable top bar if you'd like. I'm actually going to roll with the top bar disabled for now. You do have your additional info types, so if you want plain text or an email or a phone number, so when you've seen that top bar was enabled, you could switch this to phone number instead of the email. So if you switch it to phone number, you want to put your phone number in here, just uh, add your phone number, and then of course put your country code. So if you're +1 for the United States or whatever that is, that's how you want to operate that. All right, so I'll turn that back off. I guess for purposes, if you have the transparent header enabled, then those controls aren't going to be as noticeable, but I'll turn it off. It still works when you do the scroll, but I'll turn it off so you can see it the entire time. So you have top bar background color, of course. So like if you want that to be black, I just change that to black. Of course, that text would probably look better now if I turned it to white. And then you have hover, so you can see they're red on hover. Maybe I'd want them to be the orange. So, oops. So those are your options there, just showing you the color settings. So I'm going to turn that back off. I'm going to turn the transparent header back on. Okay. So next um, you have your header background color and some other options here. So these are actually controlling the non-transparent header. So you have your transparent options down right here and right here, and then so we'll just go through these one by one. So if we scroll down, so here's your white background. So of course, if you want to turn that to black, you can. I'm going to turn that back to white. Then you have your transparent background text. So if I go back to the transparent background, of course, orange is probably not going to look the best, so you can see that change on the transparent. We'll change that back to white. Transparent hover. So nice little light orange. You can see that hover taking effect. Don't pay attention to the mega menu. That's for upcoming part of this video. So then you have your header text color. So it's black right now. If we want to change that to orange, you'd see now it's orange up there. And then you have the hover. So this is for desktop, of course. The hover is pink. So maybe in this instance you want that to be something else. I'll just do black for now. So we got that, or you can do this light. Don't look good. All right. Anyway, so I'm sure you get an understanding of what those options are like. Then you have your mobile menu, which is kind of separate. So let's do that. Let's go to mobile. So here's your mobile menu. Right now we have your logo comes through, and you have the mobile background here. So what if you want to set it to black? This is where maybe you need that option to add a custom mobile logo. So to show, but this orange actually shows on black just fine. So we set the menu background to black. So maybe we need the menu text color to be, maybe that orange will show just fine. Or maybe we would want to do white. So you have those options there. And then the active color is just like if you're on a page. So let's just click learn more real quick. So we're on learn more. If we open it up, this is the active color right there. So we go into the header. Let's go back to the mobile. So mobile menu active. So if I go and do orange, now you can see the active. We're on the learn more page or whatever we link to there, and that's the active. All right, so now you have sub menu. That does not work for this. It is actually for desktop. So go to desktop. You can notice on the account, for example, you see the white text with the pink. Well, that is set right here. So maybe we would want black and white or black and orange. I'll just change both those so you can see that. And then you have the hover. So now we go and you got the hover and all that. So that is what controls that. That is also going to control the submenu background color and text color over here. So just note that and that is because we have a one, if you have a menu that has sub-menu items, or if you have a mega menu enabled, that is what is going to cause this type of layout here. So just note that. Be interested to, we'll just leave it, turn it white for now, and then we'll do text color as black, and then boom. So there you have it. Might want to do something else, but that is a mega menu, by the way. So that is all of the settings essentially for the header. So you do have theme settings here, enable mega menu. So this is how you enable your mega menus. That is also found. So what this does when you go to the bottom of, we're in the header section right now, is it will take you to theme settings here, but it will take you only to theme settings that impact the particular section that you're in. So these are indeed able to be found also. The enable mega menu and things like that are able to be found just by going to theme settings. So if you go out of the header, you actually don't even have to do that, but you can go right here to theme settings, and then you have your mega menu right here where you can enable mega menu. So now we're going to touch on the mega menu. So first of all, in theme settings, it has to be enabled. So you enable a mega menu. You have up to, I believe, five mega menus. Once you enable it, then you have to give the link title that you want the mega menu to show up for. So for example, I put in shop all, which makes it show for shop all. If I wanted this mega menu to become activated on learn more, then I would need to change this link title to learn more. Um, and I can enable multiple mega menus. So if I wanted to enable this one, title it learn more, enable this one, title it about us, I could. And then you would just go back to your sections. In your mega menu here, you have this drop down area. You would just, so here's your mega menu one. So you have different blocks that you can add in here. But if I go to theme settings here and I enable 2 and 3, now when I go to sections, you can see mega menu 2 and 3 are also now available for me to start working on and building out there. So, but I'm going to turn those off for now, and let's go over the mega menu. So you have if you click into the actual mega menu section, you have your image height settings, your grid columns, and your grid gap. So those are really your settings. So we could by default say, hey, let's pull our images up to be this size here. Let's pull them down to be this size, whatever you like there. So that controls the image height of the section. I'll leave them there. You can do 5, 6, or 7 columns. Right now we have it set to 5. I'm going to leave it there so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would be able to put one more over in this area if we wanted to. Then you have your grid gap. So default, you can see how these items, certain areas, they get closer together. You do large, excuse me, a little bit more gap there, and then extra large. Now you have more spacing. I like the extra large spacing, but it just really depends. And then, so when you add options here, it's going to show up just as an empty column, and you'll be able to add a text area if you want. Of course, you do not have to. So you can see that text area showing up here. You can add an image. I'm just going to add any image here. So you have an image. You can add image caption. So here's your image caption. And then you can add an image link here, which will make the image clickable. You can add a menu item. So just note, you'll want to name these strategically, like this one's called Learn, because the title does show up. So you can see that title Learn shows up. So you wouldn't want to obviously name something fake menu or main menu, because that'll look not right showing there. So just be strategic about what you put there. We'll just go ahead and throw that in there for now. You have options to add multiple menus. So if you want a menu 2, you do learn. You can pile menus on down through here. If you wanted to, of course, that might not look the best. You have the ability to add up to 4 menus in the area and 2 different images. So if I want to add another image, um, I can. And that menu is getting quite large, but it certainly works. So, um, and then you have other text areas and things like that. You can control the size of the image. What that'll do is obviously because it's so large, it broke it down to another area. I would say be very very careful and strategic how you use this because um, definitely wouldn't always recommend uh, going that direction. And probably the default more times than not would be uh, default or medium, but it really just depends. You do have the flexibility there. All right, so to get rid of this, all I have to do is hit remove block in the bottom here. Let me go back to the home page just to be on there. So let's go back in the mega menu. So how did I construct this? I literally just inserted um, a company menu. So I didn't do anything in here. I just inserted the company menu. I inserted the learn menu right here in this next column area. Then I have 2 pictures, 2 images. But if I want, for example, I can move these around if I want to. So you have the option, like say if you want to lead with an image, I just pull this up here. And now if we hover, you've got image, item, and then images. Maybe if you like, let's see here, maybe you like this layout here where you actually add another column there, and we'll, excuse me, move this image, and then we'll come to this 5th grid item, and we'll add another one for boom. And then, of course, if you want them to be even, kind of like leveled out and kind of look like they're on the same level, you would want to just be careful about what you put up here. So these images obviously have different text on each of them. So, and again, you don't have to have text. So if you want to um, find the text, you just want to have the image and the link on the image by itself with no text. You could literally do that. So boom, this has a link on it, and we have no other text. Or do we? Yeah, so like you have this little layout here. You could make them images larger, so you could go for, I believe we have them maxed out here, but you could go into the column itself, and I don't know what medium will look like. Medium is way too large, so maybe we'll make some adjustments there. But this layout was pretty nice. You had a little menu. If you wanted to highlight a cell, you could. So you could come up into this first little area here and use this second text area to highlight a cell. You can insert a link here. So like say you set a particular collection or something, and you could insert a link and link that to that collection if you want. Obviously, you could make one of these images for a cell. That's a fairly decent overview of the mega menu. So now the last thing we should talk about is the footer. So if we go down here, we can see the footer. Uh, space is a little bit in the way there, so I'm just going to move it to the middle of the screen. And so I've already laid this footer out a little bit just to hopefully make it go a little faster. And so if you scroll down to the bottom of the sections here, I'm going to open up that drop down item. You have footer settings in here, which is controls your deep footer background and things of that nature. So here you can see what that controls. And then you've got your footer bar background, so you can see what that controls. So I'm going to switch those back to black, but you get an idea that these control your text and things of that nature. You can choose whether you want 4 columns or 5 or 6 or 7. It was originally set to 5, so just be aware that that can completely change your layouts there. And so you do have your grid gap too. So like, let's see what this does. Extra large. This adds some gap between the grids there. So large, you can see that shift come in. And I'll just go back to the default. Copyright text. You can show theme designer credits. Show payment method icons. So now you see all those payment methods showing up there. And I'll go ahead and hide those. You have language selector, so depending on if that's enabled in your store, as well as currency selector if that's enabled in your store. So that is the footer section settings, but then you have the individual blocks. So you can see here you can add up to 6 blocks, and essentially, I guess I can remove one. So we got subscribe today. I'll just remove that one. So remove that block. So I have the ability to add another one. So you have logo, newsletter, menu, text, and an empty column. I had newsletter inserted in there, and you can see that newsletter right there. And then if you want to span it, so if I span it too, you can see that that spanned and made it a little larger there. You also have on each block, you have the ability to show your social media icons. So if you see that I checked that there are the social media icons. I'll turn those off because I have them enabled here. Just know that the social media icons are just set up in the theme settings as well. You just paste your link to your social media channels, and that's how they get there. So you do have your newsletter over there. I'm going to leave it as white. So on your logo block, you can change your logo, of course, between desktop and mobile. You can add your custom logo width. So here I've got it down to 50 pixels. Obviously, that was way too small. So boom, there we have it there. You have your alignment. So you want to align left, align center. Just give you slight adjustments there. And you have your spans. So I spanned it too to create some space there in the footer. And so from there, I just inserted a menu. So company is a menu. All I did was insert the menu here. You have your menu title. So if you want to make that a little different, so there's orange and then the menu items are white. So you do have that option there. Learn is a menu. Follow us, that is text. So I just added text and put some text in here and then click show social media icons. So you do have that ability. You could, of course, add links here as well if you wanted to link to something for some reason. So you have that text area. Also, I put an empty column area. So if I get rid of that, you can see that this is all the way over here. Maybe you like that there, but I added a column and then I spanned it 3 to push the subscribe over to the right side here. You really do have a lot of ability to, provide a custom layout here to your liking. And then, of course, if we go on mobile, you have the footer. It just stacks as you see here. So it plays nicely on mobile as well. All right. Well, with that being said, that is essentially everything you need to know for a high-level overview of the announcement bar, the header, the mega menu, and the footer. So now you're that much more prepared to use the DGD Crusade Shopify theme to maximize your site performance.